Hello, it's me, Philip, and this is a Sony radio that does not work. It is a model ICF-880L, and it needs 240 volts or 6 volts DC, which is 4 AA batteries, assembled in Malaysia. It's quite a nice little unit. It's not coming on. It's got this little thing on the back. It says FM1, FM2 and FM3. Minimum, maximum. So I don't know what they're for. But on the front, it's got FM1, FM2 and FM3. So I don't know if they're like a memory. I'm not sure. I'll find out when I get it working. It is a 4-band receiver, FM, MW, LW and SW, with FM presets, so that must be what these are. Now, I've got a power supply here plugged into the wall. And we'll just double check. I've got 240 volts. And we'll plug it in there. We don't get anything at all. Can't hear any humming or nothing like that. So I think we're just going to have to open it up and see what's happening. I could try some batteries, I suppose. But I've got no reason to disbelieve the seller when he said he's tried them. Nothing. This dial is nice and smooth. Everything seems to be working. So I think I'm just going to have to open this up and find out what the problem is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now here's my disclaimer. Opening things like this up that plug into the mains can electrocute you. So this is not an instructional video. Tells you on the bottom, caution, risk of electronic shock, do not open. Don't know if I have to undo this one. Sony normally put a little arrow on the screws that you need to undo. Oh dear. Right. Immediately you can see a lot of corrosion here. It's had some water damage or battery leakage through here. That's not a very good sign. Look at that. But how bad does it go? I thought I'd been had, but the speaker connects to these 2 points and to the speaker. Look, it's not wired. That's interesting. So we'll put that to one side. We've got 240 volts through here, but it goes to a transformer. So my understanding is there won't be a large cap that I could kill myself with. So it looks like just this damage here. There's a couple of diodes for rectification. They might have gone. I'll see if I can find a fuse. It might be just some damaged traces. Might get lucky. Wow, that's looking quite bad. Power block. Let's put some vinegar on. A little bit of white vinegar. It's just going to strip away all of the board. I'm going to end up with no screen print left at all. I don't know if there's supposed to be a component here. I think it's already been opened, you see. It's possible there's been a couple of components here that have just fell off. No, I think they're through hole. Right, that's where we are. I'm just using some white vinegar. And I've got some IPA just to clean that off. Right, so looking at it, we've got DC 6 volts to come in here. And we'll just zoom down and we'll see if we can see where it goes or where it's supposed to go. So we'll just have a look and see if we can see anything, any broken traces. Although, if it's not working on 240, perhaps the fault is over on this side of the board rather than on the power supply. Unless both the 6 volts and the 240 side has both been affected in two different ways. I'll concentrate on the DC side of things first. So this will be negative. Here's positive. So positive's on this here. Presumably it comes along here up to a 3-pin component there. That's just that, which is the AC power. What 6 volts here. It's going to come up with this switch at some point. I think I've bought a dud. So we'll start off with the positive terminal, which is here. So the positive battery terminal comes to here. There's a load of copper missing from here. And then it runs up. And it should go to there. And it does. So the first part is missing. So we'll bridge that. And we'll just go along bit by bit, I think. So that gave us connection from the terminal all the way up to this. I think it's a switch on the back of here. That looks like it comes off. It's clipped. That's how it works. There's a little switch in there, look, which must disconnect the battery when you press that in. So with no AC power cord in, that should jump across from there to one of these, but it's not. Shouldn't it? It comes up here to here, and then it must have to jump across to one of these. But I don't think it is. I think that switch might be a bit gummed up. I wonder if I can get that off. But you have to take the whole thing out. I must be thinking that's right. AC, but when you plug the cord in, it disconnects the battery. So I'm thinking that's the switch. It disconnects the battery, and that's why the battery terminal runs up to these three pads here. So with no cord in, that's got to go. Am I getting that there? I'm not getting it. Right, I've got a schematic here. Got the battery terminals run up to here. The AC comes in here and runs to the top pin. So this middle pin must be either connected to the battery or connected to the AC in, and then that runs up to this power switch up here. So because I've got no power on battery and AC, it might just be this switch plus the corrosion here. So if this is the switch comes from here through this jumper on the other side of the board to this top, to the top pin. So I'm gathering the middle pin is AC, which comes down to here, which is the transformer. So this one, this top one, I would imagine does it? Yeah. So we've got DC, AC getting switched to the top pin and then going to the power switch, which is here. Right, and DC isn't going to the power switch. Yes, it is. It is now. So would DC work? I think we should put some DC into the board and see if it does anything. Right, let's give that 6 volts and see what happens. Right, 6 volts. It's not taking any amps. I'm going to see if this is the switch on. No. It's taken 0.005 of an amp. I can't hear it. There's no speaker attached. Doesn't help that there's no little bulbs in there. Oh, there is, man. Oh, look. I've got a little light. I've got a headphone jack. Let's hook something up to there. I'll switch this on. Static. Of course, I've got no aerial. Got some music there.
Welcome to those joining us on
There we go.
Radio 3. The word epiphany means the showing or
So we've got it working on AC at least.
In this
No,
service,
batteries.
we remember the 3 great showings.
So we're halfway there. I wonder if the AC... I can trace the AC. I should be able to just trace that through there. Through to here, at least. Right. So we've got that coming down to here. This one down to there. So we'll come to here. This is okay. So now we've got 5 pins on the other side of this transformer. We're going to come down to this transformer. We've got a centre tap going to a capacitor. And then these go to 2 diodes, 2 capacitors, and then to the 3 pin on the back of the AC input. So I'm going to have a look closely at this little section and see if any of these traces are broken. So you've got this top one to here is fine. It looks like this one should come down to here. That's fine. This one's a capacitor. Right, so DC, power out, AC. AC comes down here to here. Does it? It's too hard to blooming see. Is there any copper left on there? I'm not sure. Surely I'm not missing that much copper. And that's got to come up to this pin here. Yes, do have power. And then it comes down here, round there. It looks like it goes underneath this capacitor. I need all these cleaned up. I'm wondering if it's going to be DC only after looking at the state of this. I don't know if there's a component I'm missing here. What a nightmare. I'll try a bit more vinegar. See, it's not frothing up. So I think it's neutralised the corrosion. It's done its job. I just need to scrape that away so I can see where the traces are. So this is the line I'm worried about. So this is the AC DC switch, and that middle pin comes down to here. So AC should follow up. It doesn't get to there. It's missing here. So I think we need to get a trace repair done here to here. Because it comes to here to the capacitor. We'll get this one sorted out first. And then we'll take it from there. That is not wanting to stick to there. I might just have to go over the top and not follow these traces. I kind of get something stuck on there. I need some solder on here from there to there. It's not happening. I'm going to try some solder wick. No, there's no trace at all. I think it's going to have to come up to here. I'll have to put some insulated wire. It's not wanting to go on there neither. This is getting difficult. I'm going to have to study the board and the schematic, because I certainly don't want to be jumping from a trace over here to a trace over here and getting it in the wrong place. So I'm going to have to be 100% sure I know what I'm joining up and how it's laid out. I definitely don't want to be joining 230 volts up in the wrong place. This is a little bit of the circuit diagram that I need. So this one comes down. This is the one I need working. It comes down to the diode here and down to capacitor C75, which is on the other side of the board there. The capacitor there, so it's that capacitor leg there. Which one are we on? This middle one comes down underneath that cap to capacitor C75, and then it runs down on this side to that capacitor, those two diodes, that capacitor, and it runs through them back up to here to the transformer. So I need to make sure C75 connects to these capacitors and these diodes, and that should come round to here. So I could probably just go across the top, I would think, with a little bit of insulated wire. I'll have to make sure that all them are connected up. So that needs to come to here, to here, to here, and to here. And then it runs underneath to here. Brilliant. I am going to put some flux on there on the solder points, see if we can reflow them, get some flux on, then I might just put a cable on. I'm going to see if I can take up some of this. Uh-oh, I've lost a cap. Oh no. I'll clean that up and I'll come back. So if that runs underneath there to there, I could probably just jump that from there to there. If I put a trace on there, to here, to here, to here, down to here, I could probably just jump that from there to there, rather than going over the top of that capacitor. It's probably easier just to do that, I would think. And then it joins it up that way. So we'll probably do that. I'm going to see if I can get some fresh solder on the legs here and just put a trace wire along the top. This one's going to be a little bit more tricky. I might use a thicker piece of wire around here and just glue it in place with some solder mask. That's my plan at the moment. That went on nice. That hasn't gone on nice. We've got the bottom one. We've got the bottom one here, but not this one. Needs more work. And this capacitor might need a bit more work. I just need to get some fresh solder on those two legs. But it's proven a bit difficult. This one should come to there, and it does. But it's it just looks bad. I don't know how long it would last. It's not going to give a very good connection, I don't think. Well, I've got solder on there, but I don't know if it's actually soldered to the peg. It looks like it might be. So I've got to take it up and attach it up to here. Right, what a mess. Might work though. Yep, this one has to come up to here because it's got to go further up to here. So if I've got a connection from there to there, which I do, so I've got a connection from the leg to here and down to this solder point here. So I've got to get that to there because all that's missing. The capacitor that's missing needs to come from here to here, and I just need that to there. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I've been using a little bit of wet and dry board in a pair of tweezers just to give them a rub. I'll have to solder mask all of these when we're done. And I'm quite happy with that so far. So I'm going to put the capacitor that I've lost, that came off the board, on last. So I need to go from here to these two, and then down so I can get a capacitor from here over to here. I'd like to get a little bit more fresh solder on that cap, but it's not plain. Right, I've twisted that last bit of wire up just to give it a little bit more thickness. and I'm hoping some of the solder will fill in the little gaps here. If I can get the end of that over there. There we go. Get a bit of solder on there. Right, that looks nice. So I want to come down to that capacitor. That looks good. It looks good, but it's not good. It's not attached at all. That's got it. And we'll go in there. Perfect. Put a little loop on that one. Alright, I'm going to clean that up because that's a little bit, that might be a little bit too much solder on that one. It's come off. I'm sure I can go from here, join them two up. So I want to look at reinstating this capacitor here. So I put a little bit of pre-tinned trace wire. I'm hopefully going to get it onto there and bring it down, get it onto here, and then just snip it off there. And then it's going to come down to this capacitor here. I'll snip that off. And then we'll do the same from here to here. And then I should be able to just get the capacitor straight across there. Of course, I'm doing all this and I haven't even been able to test it to see if it actually works through the AC input. So it might all be in vain. There's my pre-tinned wire. See how much solder we can get on this side. None at all. I think I've just burnt it off. I could go straight across there, but I've got a trace to avoid down here. Let's stick with my original plan, which was that. Now we need a capacitor from there to there. This little one. It looks like it's been in the wars. That looks okay. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. So just across there. That should do it. I was a bit concerned earlier about these little trace wires being on the AC supply, but it's not. It's after the transformer. This will be the lower voltage side. I think that part's done. I don't have much solder on this point. I'd like to do something about that one. That's better. I've got some thin cable here. I might just put that across. I can just put that on there and then bring it down to here. It's not playing. It's going to have to come from the top. That's got to come down to this one. Right, so this red one here comes all the way up to the switch on the AC supply here. So when AC is in, this turns on and comes down to here and supplies all this AC. So the only thing I can do now is to give it a test. So as a precaution, I'm just going to bring in my load lamp and my current limiter. I've got my little external speaker to plug in. Right, I think that's it. Let's go. Just going to lean back. We'll turn this on. I've got a hum coming out of here, so it might be the volume. Hang on, which one's the volume? I don't have any. Oh, hang on. Have I switched it on? I haven't switched it on, man. But I still haven't got a light. No. I've got power. Some kind of power. I'm being very careful here. Right, the middle one's volume. But last time I had these lights coming on. I'm missing something. I'll make sure I've got this plugged in all the way. Right, let's try that again. Right, no. Right, I've got 243 volts AC there. I've got 5.6 volts coming through there. So it looks like the transformer's dropping that down correctly. I'm going to try it again on DC, because if it's working on DC, there's got to be a point where the AC and the DC join up. And then I can work backwards, I would have thought, from there. Right. 6 volts. Right, nothing. That is the power switch. I've done a lot of work to do something wrong, if you know what I mean. To say that's disappointing is an understatement. I'm just wondering if I didn't have a very good contact on the DC there. I want to clean these contacts up. Right, 6 volts. It comes up to here. Yes. And it should come out of that one. 3.4, hang on. That's not enough, is it? 3.9 after it comes out of that switch. Because it needs to come up to, we've got 6. Now I'm getting 5.6. Why is it climbing? Right, I've got 6 volts going up to the switch. Let's put AC on and see if we've got 6 volts at the switch with AC. It's possible some corrosion around here has raised its head, or up here. That's for the speaker actually, the headphone jack. But the lights weren't working, so it's not that. Right. AC's on. $244 volts. Right, AC is 244 volts. And then I'm assuming I can use the battery terminal and come up to here. 9.6 volts. Now look at that, I've got 6 volts at the switch with AC. So that tells us that this section that I've just repaired must be working okay. So I need to trace it after the switch. But I think I will use DC for that, so I don't electrocute myself. 6 volts. 6 volts. I'm not getting anything at the switch. I should have 6 volts at the switch, and I'm wondering if it's this. Because there's a switch in there. I'm wondering if that switch is faulty. I could put 6 volts straight into there and see what happens. I'm going to do that. So I've got 6 volts here, and I'm going to put it straight into there. Just plug my speaker in. Turn the volume down. Yeah, so that is working, but it's not. The little switch in here must be a little bit faulty. Don't really want to take that off. I've never came across a little switch in there before. Doesn't seem like a good idea now. The pads are good, so I might be able to take it off if I need to. Let's see if that's cleaned it out. Yeah. So now I should have, try this again on DC. Yeah. Right, so it's working on DC. Let's try AC again. Okay, switch on. No. I heard it. I heard a click. Oh, I don't like doing this. It must be that switch, surely. I might have to test my work down to here. I'm going to test for DC at the switch. Yeah, I've got 7.3 volts, but it's not going. I don't know if it's the switch, or it could be this pad. I might have a loose connection. Switch that off. Carefully pull that out. I think it's a loose connection on this little pad, the top pad. Do them all. Try that one again. Switch on. The trouble is the board's flexing.
You know what, I'm going to hire an intern, and I launched this job and I had 1,000 applications. I asked them all to submit like a mock-up social media half of my business. I ended up hiring
so it's working.
People. One guy submitted an awesome TikTok video and the other girl did an amazing Instagram post, and I'm like, yeah, you can do this better than me, so I'm going to hire you.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Like, we've never talked about their education. To me, that's not relevant information.
It takes a while to go off when you switch it off. I'll plug that out. Plug it back in again. Switch it back on. Nothing. There's a loose connection somewhere, and it does it when that board flexes. That's what's happening on the AC. I don't know if it's the socket. I don't know. It could be the. How am I going to work this out? So DC will work with the board flexing. It's not the DC side. It's the AC side, and I don't know if it's the connector or the work I've done down here. I have a feeling it's going to be the connector. This is off. So if I plug that in, DC should go off. And it does. But DC hasn't came back on. There we go. On and off. I can hear it clicking on and off. I'm going to have a look at these 3 pads. Because it was clicking on and off with DC there. I think this joint still looks a bit dry. I'm going to reflow this one. Try again. Right, let's try that. Right, switch on. I think that might be it. I'll switch it off. Switch it back on. No. Switch it back off. I have a feeling I'm going to have to solder a couple of wires, connectors onto here. The main AC input. Just to bypass that socket. Find out if it's that. The connectors look clean. I'm still not convinced about that switch. I don't want to take it off, but I might have to take that off and open it up and give it a good clean because of the condition of the pads. But I would like to get to the bottom of it. There you go. I can see a touch of corrosion on that leg. I hope there's no springs going to spring out. The underside looks nice and clean. Right, so what have we got? There's a clip there. A clip there. It does look corroded. I don't know how I'm going to get that back together. Well, they look better. There's no way you can take them out and give them a good clean. It's this little part in there. Uh-oh. So there's the corrosion. That's why it wasn't working very well. So how on earth does that go back together? Oh no. That looks good. That might be hinged just there, but with I've got 3 little prongs. They must come through there. Leave that off. I have a feeling that's the spring side. Those 3 prongs provide the spring. Like that. There's the 2 outside ones connected. And when you do that, when you plug the AC in, it disconnects this one. So you've got the AC, the middle one, connected to that one. That's the way I'm seeing that. So if I plug that in there, we might see that working. I'll have to take that out, put that on. Right. So there we go. So with no AC in, it connects the two outer ones. And then when you put AC in, it disconnects this one, the first one, and connects pin 2 and 3 up. That's why it wasn't working on AC very good. So I'm going to put a bit of deoxit in there and put that back together. Right, there we go. That should do it. He said, hopefully. There's a problem, isn't it? Look. Oh. No, it just clips straight back in. Excellent. That's even better. Brilliant. This is unplugged out of the wall. Before you panic, plug that in. And that should be the middle one. To the end one. Right, let's put that back in. Right, let's try that before we do some cleaning up. I hope that's it, I really do. Right, plug this AC mains in and switch on. I'll make sure the switch is on. Yes, it is. Switch on. Whoa, straight away. Brilliant. Switch that off. Pull it back out. Put it back in. Try again. Straight on. Excellent. That's job done, I think. Now I've only got to clean up and put some solder mask on all the traces around here. The annoying thing is, I bought a radio because I was getting a bit fed up with doing trace repair on old Game Boys and corroded batteries. So I thought I'll buy a radio, and that way I'll get to know a little bit about the circuit. This one's a little bit too modern, but that was my plan. So the plan was to try a bit radio repair or audio repair and get away from broken traces. And unfortunately the first one I've picked has got some of the worst traces I've ever seen. So I'm going to put a bit of blue mask on there, blue glue, before I put that back together. This is the eBay listing for the radio. So I paid £5 plus £4.50, £9.50. So we've got vintage Sony 4-band receiver, spares or repairs. Spares or repairs as it doesn't power on with batteries or mains. Bit of a shame there's no light on the front part. I'm assuming that's just so it doesn't use up too much energy running on batteries. There doesn't seem much to it. The speaker contacts are here and they must just fit under there. As straightforward as that by the looks of it. I hope. Let's see the corrosion on the inside of there. I'll just give that a brush out. So this bit, what here, join in there, antenna, those two little prongs on there must be antenna. We'll have to clean that up. They must have to click on there. How will I know if it's got a connection? I won't know, will I? I'm not closing up there. Oh, I think that wire, brilliant. That's the screw hole there. So that cable I've put on is fouling that part there. Don't know what I can do about it because I've made it quite short. Well, try that. Might have to look at that if it doesn't come on. I might have just pinched that wire. What I'll do is I'll take it back off. I'll inspect the cable. Yeah, that looks okay. Right, let's give it a try. Because we haven't tried the speaker. Switch on. I've got a light. Got static. So if I press FM1 and FM1's here, is that going to tune in? Yeah. There we go.
Driven by data and global geopolitical events, which is to be expected.
Alright, FM2, FM3, FM3. I'm having trouble tuning in anything on MW. Could that be the aerial? That's LW. Can't find anything on LW. And shortwave, I'm assuming SW is shortwave. Nothing. FM seems okay. Right, I'm going to leave it like that. Unless I should try the batteries. 4 AA's. Right, 4 AA's. No. 1.2, so that battery's a bit low. That's the trouble with rechargeables. 1.2 as well. Are these 1.2? Gotta be 1.5, surely. 1.2. There you go. Got that working on batteries. I'll just put the batteries on charge for half an hour. So that's working spot on. It's not exactly what I was planning. It's much better with the power supply. So that's it for today's video. Just to clean up. Very interesting to see that switch in there. So the trouble is, if that does get gummed up, like mine did, you've got to desolder the whole connector, which is probably something that people aren't going to do. So it's a nice idea, but it has its drawbacks. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.